Welcome, book nerds. We're back. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Today, I want to talk about Fireborne. This is a very fun book, basically revolution and economic fantasy series. Now, now you see there's lots of dragons on the cover, but even though there are dragons in the book, you should know that dragons are very in the background of the story. This is not Game of Thrones. Dragons are just way in the back. So this takes place in Russia. Imagine a royal family in Russia that is just dictatorship. And hello, it's Russia. Of course they're dictators, right? There's this massive revolution and they just overthrow and they just murder everybody. They just kill everybody. Almost everybody. One child is left, and the child ends up in this orphanage. He was very young when his parents died. His whole family was murdered. So he grew up in this orphanage, and he's the main character that we follow. His name's Lee. He grows up in the orphanage. He's very smart, but he really has this idea built up of what his family was, and it wasn't who they really were. They were horrible people, but they were his family, and he loved them. But then he's growing up and he's hearing these horrible things about his family and meeting people that lived through these horrible events, and he starts to think differently about who they were. So the people around him as he's grown up celebrates their death. They're happy that they're gone, and this new government has formed on the ashes of his destroyed family. And no one knows that he is a descendant of these horrible people. No one knows that he lived through the massacre. They just think he's some boy. But he starts to really get smarter, and he tests into this government program that trains you to be leaders and teaches you about economics and just basically everything you need to learn about government. And he is literally working side by side with people who had a hand in murdering his family. And another girl that he met in the orphanage, who was also, she's orphaned because of how horrible the dictatorship was, and they have this bond growing together, and the story really bounces back and forth between those two characters, and the character development is fantastic. This book is full of political intrigue and revolution on the aftermath of this horrible event. And the story is told in such a good way, bouncing back and forth between the two main characters, getting both of their points of view and flashing back here and there about the revolution and how Lee viewed everything and what it was like for him to go through those events and escape the palace. This is really a book of economics. It's like, I think the author went to school for economics and was like, I want to write a fantasy book based around economics. And that's what Fireborne is. And it is such a great story to read. So I love it. You'll love it. Read fantasy.